Hello everyone, welcome to World Cricket Chat for the final time this Champions Trophy and for the final time outside the Oval. Never know, might just be back next year. But that's a different story. So we'll talk about the final which took place between Pakistan and India, and Pakistan comprehensively beat India this time, which was quite a surprise for most of us. And there are lots of Pakistani fans behind us are still celebrating.
There are a few coming by as well.
So what we are going to try and talk about here is the fact that Pakistan did a fabulous job in making sure that
They are still doing a fabulous job here, celebrating. This is just a very small part. We've just seen a lot of cars pass by, a lot of horns blaring at full volume, a lot of music, and a lot of traffic jam.
Yes, there is quite a traffic jam there, and he's not referring to Govinda's song. But let's get on to the cricket, Suneer. I think I'm mourning India's loss by wearing black today. It is so sad. It was very, very difficult to watch because it just seemed like only one bowler really turned up, and that was Bhuvneshwar Kumar. What do you make of India's selection for this game?
Actually, you said it. It was not the loss alone. It was the one-sided nature of the loss. We've seen throughout the tournament the defeats have been one-sided. The matches have not gone the distance, and this was another one. A final that did not live up to its name. Pakistan being comprehensive winners, piling on 338 in the 50 overs, and India capitulating at the top of the order. The top order has been scoring runs. Rohit Sharma, Shikhar Dhawan and Virat Kohli have been amongst the runs. And then you had a spell from Mohammad Amir where he dislodged the top 3 wickets, and from there on it was India probably trying to get to the mark of 100, 150. There was that cameo from Hardik Pandya, but you knew that once those 3 wickets fell, it was always going to be a Pakistan's game.
It was definitely going to be very tough. But do you think, what would you say about the selection? I know we have Ashwin there who didn't do very well, and he did end up bowling his full quota of overs. A lot of criticism I saw on Twitter with regards to that, and obviously the commentators wondering why Kedar Jadhav was not brought on, considering he was brought on a lot earlier during the Bangladesh game at this, no, well, not at this ground, sorry, I'm mistaking that one, but he was brought on much earlier. So what do you say for that?
Yes, that was a surprise. Look, I'm not an advocate of bowling a part-time bowler just for the sake of it. You don't have to take overs off your main bowlers if your bowlers are doing well. But as you said earlier in the previous question, Bhuvneshwar Kumar was the only bowler who probably turned up. And when you have, and probably Hardik Pandya bowled as well. The first 9 overs that he bowled, 8 or 9 overs he did well. He got hit in 1 over, but he did a decent job. But the remaining 3 bowlers went for a lot of runs. So it wasn't like they went for runs in the 6th or the 7th over. Ashwin was not getting his lines and lengths right. He was going for runs. Ravindra Jadeja was the same. They kept attacking them, and they kept going for runs. Could have brought Kedar Jadhav on. Kohli could have brought himself on quite early. It was not about Jadhav alone. It was about changing things around. And I was very surprised to see that Kohli did not do that. Kohli did not change things around as much as one thought he could. So strategically,
we've seen him do that even against Sri Lanka at this ground. He did bring himself on. It did create a run-out opportunity against the Sri Lankans. So just to mix things up, that was a surprise as a viewer, and as someone who's come to every game to watch him, I've seen him make those changes, but it just didn't happen to
India
him.
lost to Sri Lanka in that game, but
Yes.
it was a fighting loss.
Yes.
India scored 300 odd, and there were occasions when you thought that Kohli wanted to do things differently, and he, as you said, Kohli brought himself on, and he gave a very perfect explanation there that he brought himself on and not Kedar Jadhav because he thought that the pitch out there suited seam bowling more than spinners. He did the same in the previous game against Bangladesh. He brought Kedar Jadhav on because he thought that there was a left-handed batsman probably out there. He consulted with MS Dhoni. The joke was probably that MS Dhoni did not give him the permission to get Kedar Jadhav on, but it was just a joke. I don't think that was the case. I think Kohli probably strategically missed a trick there.
So we know what happened with India's batting there, and I guess there's not much to go into that. But what would you say about the toss? Do you think India did the right thing to chase? Kohli loves to do that.
Yes, India made the right choice, made a perfectly correct call. We've spoken about this, I've spoken about it in a couple of other videos. I expected India or Pakistan to win the toss and elect to field first. Teams batting second have been able to time their chase very well, and that is what they did. Pakistan captain Sarfraz Ahmed was asked at the toss what he would have done, and he said the same. He would have fielded as well. In the press conference, he was asked what was he thinking when he lost the toss, and he said, "I was happy. I was secretly happy that I have lost the toss. Big final. I frankly had no idea what I wanted to do."
Remove the responsibility off his shoulders completely.
And that really helps you. You don't have to justify any decisions at the end of it all if you lose the game. But then he was asked very pointedly the very next question by another Pakistani journalist, what would you have done? And he was honest enough to say, I would have fielded as well. So both captains wanted to field first. It was just that one team got away with a score of 330. We saw what happened to begin with. Fakhar Azam, he had a life, scored 100. He kept playing those aggressive shots. He kept trying to test his luck to an extent, got away with it, scored 100, and from then on, the rest of the Pakistani batting took on the sort of flagging Indian morals. You thought that, India is resigned to the fact that they're going to be chasing a score of 320, 330 or even more. They did well to restrict them in the end of 330.
Okay, just let me know what the score is and I'll come out to bat, sort of a thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I felt like.
That was a feeling you got as well, that that you knew that they're going to score anywhere in excess of 320, 330. Whatever is the score, they have to chase it down. Unfortunately, the batting didn't click.
So Pakistan did really well there. They've really come back after their first loss against India. They've made tons of improvements. They definitely did not look like the team that was there at Edgbaston on the 4th of June. And today on the 18th of June, in 14 days, they look like a completely different side. And they managed to win the Champions Trophy. So good on them. And I definitely will say India did really, really well during this Champions Trophy. We have to commend them from how they have fought, how well they've changed themselves around as well, and how well our batsmen have done, and so have our bowlers.
First things first,
Our bowlers.
Pakistan did well. There is no doubt about the fact that they were looking down in the dumps. Forget making it to the final. They were probably not. They did not look favourites to even make the semi-final. South Africa and India looked favourites. In the end, it boiled down to those quarter-final matches, virtual quarter-final matches between India and South Africa and Pakistan and Sri Lanka, and Pakistan making it through to the semi-finals. Beating England was a huge pat on their backs, a huge thing for them, a huge encouraging point, because England were the favourites in the tournament, and beating England in Cardiff was a big thing. And then when they came here at the Oval, again, not a lot of people gave them a chance. Indian fans, Eddie, I thought that India were favourites. I had said this earlier, that if India were to play to their full potential and Pakistan played to their full potential, India would still beat Pakistan. I don't think India played to their full potential to begin with, but yes, they had gone in as second favourites and managed to beat a side which was probably favourites for the game. They were the number 8 team in the world at the start of the tournament as well. Their rankings would obviously increase with 4 consecutive wins against higher ranked nations. So that's a big plus for them. As far as India is concerned, it was interesting to hear Virat Kohli. He said the same thing. Look, we lost in the final, but in the end we have made the final. You got to remember that we have made the final and we have done well. We learn from victories, we learn from losses, we will learn from this loss, and we'll move on. There's nothing to really lose one's head about. His message was to remain calm.
So where does India move on from here?
Well, India have a series against West Indies coming up. They'll leave. I think they will board a flight directly from here, leave for West Indies. I'm a bit surprised that India have named nearly a full strength side. Rohit Sharma is missing, obviously, but I thought they could have rested most of their bowlers. You are essentially playing against a number 9 nation. We have seen India have gone into series against Zimbabwe with a second string side. Now I don't think we can equate West Indies and Zimbabwe just yet, but given the kind of the number of matches that a lot of these Indians have played. Virat Kohli, for example, he could have been rested. He has been playing non-stop since September. He played those 3 big series played
He had
against.
sort of a gap with his injury against Australia.
But that was a forced gap. It was recuperation from that injury. He did not have a gap apart from those 15
Right.
days. He's been captaining in all three formats, played the IPL, played the Champions Trophy, the warm-up between the IPL and the Champions Trophy. And the IPL got over on 21st. The Indian team landed in the UK on the 24th. So we're looking at 25th, early morning 25th. We're looking at just a gap of 3 days, which is no recovery again. So you could have had a gap, kind of a break for the main players, but that hasn't happened. There's another series after that. India plays Sri Lanka, I think, in July, and they go from there. So I just hope that there are not a lot of injury issues that India faces in the summer to come. Because they have a South Africa series coming up in December. As far as Pakistan is concerned, well, I think they have achieved those ranking points that are needed to qualify directly. I think the cutoff is 30th September, which I think should be enough now. This result should be enough for them to qualify directly.
Arthur said that at the end, that Pakistan have now qualified. They don't have to go through those other teams to get to qualification for the World Cup 2019.
Which is a big thing, because what that means right now is that West Indies and Zimbabwe will be joined by a lot of these other, so to say, associate nations, smaller nations, Afghanistan, Ireland, and the rest of them, and it's kind of not good for a top team to go through that. But well, that's the rule, that's the law, and West Indies will have to face the brunt of having not had a great tournament or not had a great ODI run in the recent times. They lost to Afghanistan as well, and Pakistan have taken full toll of that.
Great. So we are all done here at the Champions Trophy, and we've loved our time here from World Cricket Chat in London, at Oval, at the Sophia Gardens, and in fact at Edgbaston as well. It has been, we've weathered every storm, every weather possible.
Literally speaking.
And we have enjoyed ourselves, and it's been a great experience, and thank you all for joining us, and we should be back soon with, I don't know what, but we will be back soon. Bye-bye.
We will be back. Bye-bye.